Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Sorrow Bottle Chronicles. Today, we're going to talk about Saints versus Vikings. Game started out well enough. Both teams, on their first possessions, score field goals. Well, after that, I don't think the Vikings even punted. They score 7, and then they score 7 again. And then they score 7 more, and we go in at halftime with a score of 24-3. We didn't even sniff the red zone outside of that first possession. Okay. We go into the third quarter. Maybe about 6 minutes go by, and Derek Carr suffers what they say is a concussion and a re injuring of his throwing shoulder again that he injured in the Green Bay game. That's never been healed. This morning, when I woke up, I had this fantasy going in my head. Perhaps it was a dream. I don't know. But anyway, I had this fantasy that the Saints were going to go to Minnesota and lose, not only lose, but get goose egged, embarrassed, bad enough to where the hue and cry from Saints Nation would have been undeniable, and either Dennis or Pete would have been gone. And I was still comfortable in that fantasy after halftime with a score of 24-3. Well, I said, at least we won't get goose egged. Carr gets hurt. They put Jameis Winston in. You all know that I'm Team Winston all the way. But the last thing that I want to see is Winston in a game, as good as he is, as good a person as he is, and for the way that the Saints have treated him since he's been there, since, rather, Sean Payton left, the way that they've treated him. I screamed and cussed. No, no, no! Do not put Jameis Winston in this game and allow him to be tarnished by the stink of this team. Well, Jameis goes in anyway. First drive, 3 out of 3 passing. What do we get? Touchdown. In the red zone. Something Derek Carr couldn't do this game and hasn't been able to do in a Saints uniform pretty much all season. Okay, I'm getting hot now. I said, okay. So we scored 8 points. Okay. All right. We go back. The other team gets the ball. After a while, they're out without scoring. Saints get the ball back. And what do you know? Another touchdown and another 2-point conversion on top of it. Well, now I am screaming and cussing hot. The reason? If the Saints win this game, Jameis Winston will be the one responsible for saving Dennis Allen's candy ass. Yeah, I was screaming and cussing hot by then. But then the Saints get stymied. And the other team knows that you being down like you are, you're going to be trying to win the game. We're going to throw the ball. So what do? Hang back. They get two interceptions. That last one, a Hail Mary thrown toward the end zone, that if caught would have brought us to within two. But that wasn't the way it happened. Saints lose the game. Okay. A few weeks ago, I think on TJ's show, I gave three words to consider. One of them was karma. And the reason why is because I say that the Saints have karma with Jameis Winston and that karma would be felt this season. Well, had Jameis won that game, that karma would be all out there. As it is, he acquitted himself fabulously, even with those two interceptions that, man, my goodness, could you really blame for? Because we're trying to win the game. Of course, we're going to throw the ball. But there are so many in Saints Nation who want to put the blame for that loss on Jameis Winston. That is not right or not fair. Especially when you consider that Jameis Winston was the only quarterback on the Saints that was effective in the red zone. He had 2 trips, he had 2 touchdowns. Carr had 1 trip, maybe, no touchdowns. No, he didn't throw an interception. But of course he's not going to throw an interception because he's too concerned about keeping his completion percentage pristine. Dennis Allen's karma with Jameis Winston slapped him in the face today because Jameis Winston went out there and proved that he was the quarterback that could move this team. I don't know if anybody else noticed, but I did. There was a visible lift on this team when Jameis Winston came in and started making plays. I'm not going to say there was a change in the energy of that team when Jameis Winston came into play. Energy was another one of those words. The quality of energy surrounding the Saints has been stank all year long. And I have told you that the reason I believe that energy is so stank is because of Derek Carr and because Dennis Allen has allowed him largesse to do and act however he chooses. It was obvious to me that this team would rather have Jameis Winston as their quarterback over Derek Carr. After all, consider Jameis Winston was bought to the Saints in 2020. Correct me if I'm wrong, please do. He spent 2020 there, became the starting quarterback in 21 before he got hurt on a Devin White horse collar in Tampa Bay game. He was 5-2, 14 touchdowns, 3 interceptions at that point in 7 games. Since Dennis Allen has been here, no, he's not been given a fair chance. A matter of fact, he's been stymied by Allen at every turn. And if you don't think some of that negative energy that Dennis Allen has put out around Jameis Winston is affecting the morale of that team, I got some beachfront property out my backyard I want to sell you. For cheap. As it was, if you'd noticed the last few games, the ball, a lot of times, has been taken out of Derek Carr's hands in the red zone. That's a good thing because he cannot perform in the red zone. He's proved it over and over again throughout his career. There's a telling stat about that. Derek Carr, in the red zone, during his career, has thrown 60 touchdowns and 0 interceptions up until the beginning of this season. Jameis Winston, by contrast, for his career, has 86 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. You make of that what you will, but Jameis will take the chance that Carr will not. Because Jameis is not that concerned about his, completion percentage. He's more concerned about winning. Derek Carr is more concerned about protection. Derek Carr holds his balls in his hands. Jameis Winston plays balls to the wall, and we saw that today. I think Jameis put up a good showing for people that's looking. I want him out of here so bad to have a real chance somewhere else to make good. But yes, the Saints did in this game exactly what I expected them to do. The only thing that I didn't think about, the only wrinkle that I could not possibly have thrown in, was the insertion of Jameis Winston into that game. Because, as I've said before, Dennis Allen would eat a plate of doo-doo with a pea chaser on national TV before he would play Jameis Winston. I wonder, did he go to the sidelines and eat him a plate of doo-doo? Wash down with some pea? And then there are some in Saints Nation who are going to drag Jameis Winston because, hey, that is their lot in life and they do it for freaking sport. They're going to drag Jameis Winston for the 2 interceptions and the last one at the end of the game in the end zone, a Hail Mary. They're going to drag him for those 2 interceptions, but they'll never give him credit for doing in the red zone what Derek Carr could not. But that's all right, though. The whole country who watches NFL football just for the joy of it, not because that there's somebody who's their particular team or anything, but for the joy of it. He showed everyone who should be the quarterback of this team. He showed everyone that the players on this team thinks he should be the quarterback and not Derek Carr with his petulance and his ineffectiveness and his tendency to lay blame anywhere but himself. Congrats, Vikings. You earned it. Saints, have a bye this week so they can sit around and stew and chew on exactly what went wrong in this game and exactly what went right. But there'll be no changes. Dennis Allen will play Derek Carr if he has to roll him out on the field on stilts. But that's okay because in 2014, when Allen was the coach of the Raiders, Carr was his quarterback. Allen got fired in 2014. Let's hope that Derek Carr delivers to the Saints the same result that he delivered to the Raiders in 2014. That's all I got, folks. I'm going to take another drink and another pull on the cigar. Thank you for being here. You can like, share, and subscribe if you want to. I'm not going to ask or beg you to do so because this podcast is as much my own season diary as it is a podcast. So thank you for being here. Thank you for giving me a listen. Y'all take care. Who dat?